Modern entertainment has tried and failed so many times making strong female protagonists, so let's have a look at how it should be done. To do this, let's compare Rhaenyra from House of the Dragon to Galadriel from the Rings of Power. When we are first introduced to Rhaenyra, she gets off her dragon, which is much larger in size than her, and she offers to one day fly with her friend Alicent, who refuses due to being afraid. This scene is a perfect example of showing instead of telling. We can see how confident and brave Rhaenyra is, as without fear she flies a beast that majority of people would be too afraid to stand beside. However, she does not do this in an arrogant manner. She could have mocked her friend for being afraid, but instead she doesn't make a big deal out of it. However, she is not perfect. We also learn early on that she can act a bit spoilt and arrogant. This can be seen in the scenes where she rips the pages out of the book with Alicent, while showing she was well informed about her duties. She states she wants to sail away from her responsibilities as the heir. Her spoiled attitude is also shown in the celebration of her younger brother's birth. She's rude towards her father and gives him attitude as she thinks she will be replaced. This makes her feel very human, as other siblings can worry about their parents' attention going away from them for the first time. Let's compare this to Galadriel's introduction. We find her building a paper ship while she gets bullied by the other children. This was a good start, as it hints at her being delicate, precise and patient, whilst also showing that she is not perfect, as she can get bullied too. However, this is all ruined the moment she beats up the other kids despite being smaller in stature without explanation as to why she can do it, apart from she is Galadriel. We then sail into the future and we get more proof that she is just a robot, a Terminator really. We're told how much she cared about her older brother, so when he dies we would expect some sort of reaction from her. However, we don't even get a tear. Like the Terminator, she just sets a goal to terminate Sauron to get her revenge. The writers probably intended this to make her look strong, but instead it just makes her look emotionless and empty. Sadly, it is not only Galadriel's personality, it's what she does in the story too. First major thing we see her do as this amazing elf army leader is want to leave behind her own troops and sentence them to death. This does not make her look strong because she can go on. It makes her look evil, arrogant and inconsiderate. To add to this, not long later we see her single-handedly kill the snow troll that killed or injured at least 3 of her battalion. These actions would be arguably okay if, big if, we had an explanation as to why she is so much better than her battalion, but we get nothing. So just because she's Galadriel, she is better. What sums up Galadriel's actions throughout the whole show? No matter what is happening, she will try and brute force through it, because she is so strong. She just wants to fight everyone to have her way. Examples of this are when she threatens the whole Númenórean court, or threatens Isildur's father. Surely a more cunning or delicate approach would have been better in these situations, instead of brute force that she goes with. Not only does this not make the character look strong, like the writers intended, but also makes her look kind of stupid. She's lived thousands of years and still is not bright enough to change her tactics. This perfectly contrasts how Rhaenyra, being a woman, is what makes her such a strong protagonist. Throughout the show, her most courageous actions are ones that only a woman could do. She's given birth multiple times despite there clearly being a genetic concern that she may die. I don't know any people who would put themselves through this. Not only that, right after giving birth, she makes her way through the castle, after bleeding so much and being through so much pain, just so that she can prove her point against Alicent. How badass is that? I think what helps is that the show itself puts into perspective how giving birth is a woman's battlefield. And if you ask me, I would way rather sword fight someone than go through that. It shows not only physical strength, but emotional strength and dedication. In addition to this, her being a mother helps her be a better leader. There's multiple occasions where she persuades and manipulates people to avoid conflict, and yet still benefits her and her family. A man in her position would have probably started multiple wars and caused hundreds of deaths, but her using her feminine attributes here to her advantage is what makes her so strong. What Rhaenyra struggles with from the beginning is how people of the kingdom view her because she is made heir despite being a woman. This results in most people not taking her seriously or treating her as an object one can obtain to further their own power. This can be seen in the campsite for her brother's celebration when the Lannister lord tries to persuade her by offering her his castle and to treat her like a wife, something that is a clear downgrade from her being the heir to the throne. We also see how easy it was for her to get overthrown because she was looked down upon for being a woman. Now if you ask me, that sounds like a much more relatable issue that people, especially women, face in society. So as we watch the show, we see her having to constantly prove herself to people that she in fact deserves to be queen, not because of her genitalia, but because of how she acts. It makes a much more satisfying protagonist if there's an arc they can go through after going through constant struggles. In contrast to this, Galadriel does not have an arc. As arrogant as she was at the start, she still is at the end when she decides not to tell anyone who Halbrand was and forces Elrond to trust her because she said so. Throughout the whole show, we see all characters singing her praises. Every room she walks in, she states her titles and suddenly everyone is in awe. But as an audience, we don't know why, because from what we have seen, she does not deserve this. She is amazing because the writers said so, and nothing sums this up more than this line.
Who is that? Commander of the Northern Armies, Galadriel.
This scene just emphasises what the writers wanted the character to be, but not the character they made. Everyone in the show loves her, but no one watching the show does, and that's a problem. Before I conclude, let me know in the comments who your favourite female protagonist is. The beauty of entertainment is it doesn't matter what gender a character is, but you can still connect with them or the story if they are written well. The problem with most shows and films these days is that they think if they make a protagonist a woman, it will automatically make them a good character. In shows like The Rings of Power, you could easily change Galadriel into a man and it would make no difference to the story. That's because the main character is just an empty shell they use to promote their message. However, try changing Rhaenyra into a man and the whole show would be broken, because what makes her strong and unique is restricted to her being a woman.